So let's get into my newbie tag. All right, good people. It's your girl Memphis Jones coming at you from the parking lot of the Air Force Memorial. Why did you start this YouTube channel? My channel is a book review, blog, vlog, um, resource sharing platform for books that I find enjoyable, books that are associated with military community, women in the military, but also books that are empowering in some form. My channel is called Hey Dear Blog, as it is associated with my Facebook page and my Blogspot page, where I now have my written reviews of various books. I think I have 6 or 7 reviews written. So I utilize this platform to get more of my information out, things that I want to share with the public as it pertains to bookish elements, bookish things, books that I'm reading, books that I want you to read, or that I think you should read, or that, you know, to become part of this community that I did not know existed. I had no idea of a BookTube until I think November of last year. And I certainly had no idea what a newbie tag was. I didn't know tags existed. And then this January, I just started, being given more and more from the algorithm, more tags. And I'm like, what is a tag? And so here I am. Here I am doing my own tag. And that was a really long, really drawn out answer. I apologize. All right, question 2. What fun facts or new thing do you bring to BookTube? I think that my Southern disposition, my age, as I feel that most booktubers are in the younger bracket, although I am finding more older persons in 40s and above who are also on BookTube. And I enjoy all of the genres. I'm also seeing more males of color also popping up. And I think I am in a minority as a booktuber who is more focused on military related books, military related authors. What I would add different is the age bracket I'm coming from, the region of the U.S. that I'm coming from, as well as a strong service element that I'm bringing with my choices of books, my choices of interviews and interviewees. Question 3 is, why do you love to read? I don't know that I love to read more. I think the better way to say it is I like to read. I used to read a lot more. I always had a book. Growing up, I was reading, I read the whole Bible, reading books like Roots by Alex Haley, reading, the Green Mile series. I remember doing these things younger when I had my attention span was longer. And I think what I'm wanting to do now is to get back to a place where reading is a huge element of my life. And I want to enjoy reading as not a forced factor in my life, because for work, obviously, I have to read. And these things that I'm reading is not for pleasure, and I have to relearn to read for pleasure. And then I hope that I will go from like back to a place of love, because there's so much in reading, so much in being able to have an imaginative view of what you're reading. You know, I was such an imaginative child. I remember writing a little book and gluing all the pages together and handwriting all of the, my chapters out, my little table of contents, and, doing all of the art in the little book. And because I used Elmer's glue as the binding, it was the hardest book to turn the pages, because that Elmer's glue may have spread a little far, and maybe the pages didn't open as wide as some of the other pages. I thought that was just so funny. But I'm trying to get back to that childlike, enjoyment of the simple act of reading, and not reading because it's something that I have to do. All right, I think this is question 4. I may have these out of order, but the question is, what are you most excited about with starting your channel? I'm most excited about my channel's direction, because it started well before this newbie tag. But I think I'm excited about the direction shift in the channel as I am gaining more structure as a booktuber. It's not just content creator, it's what type of content creator are you? Well, I'm a booktuber. It's giving me some structure in how to operate my channel, and that feels good. That feels like I'm on a track, and not just posting to post. But I have a bit of structured ideas that fit within a categorization that I didn't have before, and that excites me to have some direction there. And I didn't build it all on my own. I've watched many other YouTubers' channels to gain this. I've watched, I think her name is Maya Vincent or Maya Venice. I recently watched her video, and she gave out all of these ideas for BookTube videos. And it's like, book, a book haul, your bookshelf review, your review of other written reviews, like on Goodreads, Amazon, whatever, having reactions to what, others think of books that you think are great, things like that. I've also gotten inspiration from a new booktuber. He just joined in. I think he has maybe 4 or 5 videos, and he goes by 5. And I think he's just a breath of fresh air. He's just like, yo, this is who I am. This is what we're doing. I like to read. You like to read. So let's rock. Let's do it. I love it. It is so refreshing. And it's also really refreshing to see a young Black man who's, tattooed and whatnot. And he's just like, this book was awesome. Oh, and by the way, I like romance. I'm just, to me, that's outstanding. To me, that, and I'm just so glad to see, people bringing their own flavor also into this. So that's my, yet again, long-winded answer. All right, y'all. So number 5 is, what book or series really got you into reading? And when I think about this question, I go way back. I go back to, as excuse me, some of you may stop me if you've heard this before. The little, I think they're called the Little Golden Books. And these books go back, way back. I want to say the 60s. And they're usually books that teach you the golden rule on something, about being nice, helping mom with chores, helping dad with chores, how to handle your anger as a child, or religious, things, the golden rule type things. And I think throughout the years, they grew to include popular cartoon characters and such into these stories. But that series of books was on the end cap, it seems like, of every discount store that my mom and I would go to. And I always had to have one. And if she told me I couldn't have it, I would consume that book as fast as I could before she had checked out of whatever store we were in. And I believe that these books are still actively published to this day. But if I'm not mistaken, there's like a core 12 of these books that, are really memorable for people who are maybe baby boomers and Gen X like myself. We had those books. And I just remember, and I remember the location of this store, but I don't remember the name of the store, and I know it's gone from my hometown. But I remember showing my mom the book, and I think it's the one like, how to help mom or helping mom with chores or something. And she's like, yeah. Don't you already have that book? And I'm like, no, I don't think I already have this one. And I clearly wasn't going to get it that day either. So I stood there and read that book as fast as I could. And I was speed reading, didn't even know that was a concept, to get the main gist of the book. And at the end of it, I was like, I guess I really didn't need that book because I knew these things already, but that brings back memories for me. And with this question, that's how far back I'm going with what series got you started reading. So question, what are we on? 6? What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And that would be retention of information. What are the methods that you employ to ensure that you have retained what you've consumed? Because I feel like we're reading so much in order to create content, or they are reading so much to create content, that how are you retaining what you're reading in order to bring that information in the form of a review to your viewers and have it be, up to your standards, whatever that may be. That I would ask, excuse me. And I think for me, primarily, that's my primary question. Not so much, ideas about what videos would you do, or how you come across what you want to read. I think the people that I follow are not those ones who follow the masses with their book choices. They read what they want to read or what they love. Sometimes they may use, Goodreads and do a review of what the trend is, but that's not really who they are. And so I think that's why I have chosen the certain ones that I do follow. Because if you're all reading the same thing, then I'm getting the same review with a different vocal tone, I feel like. So yeah, essentially retention of what you've consumed. Question 7. What challenges or hurdles have I encountered or overcome with starting my channel? Again, there were no real obstacles in the beginning because my purpose was different. It was more or less just, where do I put this very large file and make it accessible to individuals who would like to review the video? I think as I have grown into understanding more about YouTube, I watch, Nick Nimmin and his brother. I watch Think Media. I watch other channels that talk about the mechanics of YouTube and the processes, involved in having a good YouTube channel worthy of consumption by, YouTube consumers. I don't watch regular TV very often. I don't pay for cable. I have an antenna hooked to my TV because I like free TV. And most of what's coming on free TV is, classic shows or PBS. That's what I consume. But I consume heavily shows and videos from YouTube. And so I think what I would consider an obstacle or a hurdle is ensuring that I'm creating something worth consuming, and being consistent at that, because I do have a job and it can become, I can't tell you how long it has taken me to come to the point of finally doing what I'm doing right now. And the reason why I've decided to not move and get this done right now is because I will overthink it to death. Am I dressed right? Is my atmosphere right? Is this aesthetically pleasing? And I'm going to take these off now. And then again, yeah, I'm not wearing any makeup. I got lines on my face from my shades. I was just like, you know what? If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And you're going to do it right now. And stop figuring out, reasons to not do it. Right? Because I posted a video, I think it was on Monday, that I was, jumping into doing my BookTube, my Newbie tag. And then I did a coming soon at the end because just wasn't ready, And so that's a short. I created a short to give you a heads up that I'm finally going to do this. But that wasn't the intention. It wasn't the intention for that to be a short. It was an intention for this to be it right here, right now. Let's get this done. And I still managed to push myself off almost another week. So that's my hurdle, getting things done in a timely manner, and just do it, right? Just do it. Everybody says it, just get after it. I get after it in many facets of life, and I don't know why this one is so hard for me, but I'm here now, right? So let's keep going. Question 8. So question 8 is, when did you start reading? I have no idea. I don't know if I started reading at 3, 4, 5. I have no idea, honestly. I started when I started. That's all I can say. Guess I could ask my mom. But I remember reading in reading circles in class and being average at it. So I don't think that means that I started early. I have no idea, guys. That's kind of an odd question. So that's the shortest answer I've given you all day. All right, question 10 is, what kind of books do you like to read? I like to read books that I like crime novels. I like mysteries, thrillers. I like books that pull like elements of history in, whether it's false history or real. Kind of like the Da Vinci Code. I like the Da Vinci Code a lot because I was like, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? What? I like I like books that teach me something about me. I don't really think self-help, but I think when an author is explaining something that they personally have experienced and how did they overcome it. I like autobiographies or biographies, either or. I like I do like poetry. I don't read as much of it as I, did maybe growing up. But I do have an interactive interview with a poet who was a friend of mine from high school. We both went into the military. She went into the Marines. I went into the Air Force. And she wrote a book of poetry because she'd always been writing. I think she was even part of the yearbook club, group, whatever. She's always been into that. And so she has a book of poetry that I did an interview with her, I think 2 years ago. That's on my channel here. So I like books that have some speed to it. They may start slow and that's okay, but at some point they pick up and they have some speed to it. I remember having, I think his name is Stuart McBride, books introduced to me through my Nook, Barnes and Noble, and I read 3 of them in quick succession with the worst mental Scottish accent. I think if it was being said out loud, I think it would be probably offensive to an actual Scotsman. But these and it's crime. You're following this detective. Can't remember the guy's name right now, the detectives, but yeah, I loved it. I was eating it up. You got crime. It's like CSI, NCIS, things like that. I love that. And so that in book form is just as exhilarating as watching the TV show, but you got more of it, and you got, it's not going to be wrapped up in an hour. You gotta deal with the smut, deal with, what your mind thinks, the smells and feels of things that's being described. Honey, listen, I'll sit up all night. I wake up ready, to get ready for work, can barely move because I've been up all night reading this book. Those are the kind of books I like. They just grab you and don't let you go until the end, and then you're like, where's the next book? So crime, mystery, thrillers, things like that, and historical books. I just bought a book of Abraham Lincoln. Apparently was a poet, and I didn't know it. See that? Yep. I just got this from the Lincoln Cabin in DC. So I went on a tour. The last question is, what does your book collection look like? Sparse, because in the last 3 weeks, I have given away quite a few books that I know I won't read or I have already read to the DC to Prisons nonprofit so that they can redonate those to the prison library system. And I've also donated some books that my mom had that were primarily devotional type to the Veterans Administration's Community Living Center. So those books are gone. I have my TBR and my TBR2. I got TBR1 and TBR2 set up. And the rest of my books are more or less like resource material for my job. Also like writing, books about writing, and writing better, concepts about religions, primarily the Abrahamic religions, things like that. That's what's on my bookshelf, which is pretty eclectic, when I think about it. And I picked up a book actually while I was out and about. It was on a donation cart. And it's a bit of a mystery thriller, from what I can tell here. It's the Hades Factor. And from the little write-up on the back, essentially, a man-made virus is about to cause a pandemic if it's not stopped. Yeah. Nope, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I actually figured, let me take this book and read it so nobody else will read it and feed into their conspiracy theories. So, yeah, that's my BookTube newbie tag, good people, and I'm glad to be here. I hope that you will join me on my little excursions around the city, around the DC, DMV area, and yeah, I hope to hear from you. I hope to be able to interact with you, and I apologize for, what I look like going through this. I had to get it done, and I couldn't keep pushing it back. I was about to film it in my bathroom. I worked for Jordan Hallett. He's got like 8.5 million subscribers. I just found him. I just learned who he was like at the end of December. He films in his bathroom. Guys, I think my bathroom is aesthetically pleasing, and I may do a few videos in my bathroom. All right, mom is calling, so she needs something. I will talk to you guys later. It's your girl Memphis Jones trying to catch this call. Holla at you.